live action, just to prove everything's not scripted in government. Okay. Can cameras get me here? Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is a public hearing for the following 16 bills, and they are to improve city services, make the city safer for all New Yorkers, and ensure even greater transparency and fairness. We now have a chair. Okay, we're switching. I can do it from either microphone. Thank you. And the bills are as follows. Intros: 508A, 657A, 1116A, 1257A, and 1267A. And intros 1463A, 1528A, 1557A, 1579A, and 1588A. And intros 1637A, 1673A, 1692A, 1707A, 1722A, and 1763. I want to thank Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito, sponsor of intros 1557A and 1722A, NYPD Commissioner Jimmy O'Neill, Health Commissioner Mary Bassett, DOT Commissioner Polly Trottenberg, DeWitt Commissioner Ann Roast, Acting Commissioner for the Mayor's Office for Immigrant Affairs, Bita Mostafi, Mayor's Office for Combating Domestic Violence Director, Cecile Noel, CFB Executive Director, Amy Loprest, Councilmember Costa Constantinides, Chair of the Committee on Environmental Protection, Councilmember Vanessa Gibson, Chair of the Committee on Public Safety, Councilmember Ben Kalos, Chair of the Committee on Governmental Operations, and sponsor of intros 508A and 1692A. Councilmember Adonis Rodriguez, who we'll hear from in just a moment, Chair of the Committee on Transportation and sponsor of intro 1463A. Councilmember Jimmy Vaca, Chair of the Committee on Technology and sponsor of intros 1528A and 1707A. Councilmember Carlos Menchaca, Chair of the Committee on Immigration and sponsor of intro 1579A. I sound like an auctioneer, don't I? Councilmember Corey Johnson, Chair of the Committee on Health and sponsor of intro 1637A. Councilmember Jalissa Ferreras Copeland, Chair of the Committee on Finance and sponsor of intro 1763. Councilmember Dan Garodnick, sponsor of intro 657A. Councilmember Jimmy Van Bramer, sponsor of intros 1116A and 1257A. Councilmember Roy Lanceman, sponsor of intro 1267A. And Councilmember Jamani Williams, sponsor of intro 1588A. And finally, Councilmember Helen Rosenthal, sponsor of intro 1673A. Now, my pleasure to introduce Councilmember Adonis Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This past weekend, a 14-year-old undocumented person was killed by a criminal driver who tried to leave the scene. Now, himself or his family, we lost a source of revenue or income that they have, but we lost a beautiful 14-year-old child in our city. Today we'll be hearing on Intro 1463 the Jean Paul Guerrero Jean Paul bill, which will require the city to create an alert system similar to Amber Alert to notify the public of hit-and-run crashes. Similar bills already exist in LA, California, LA, and now Philadelphia is also discussing similar bill. As you know, DJ was a famous from the popular radio station La Mega, killed last December by the hit-and-run drivers in Brooklyn as he was heading out from his job entertaining his Brooklyn audience. During the fiscal year of 2016, a total of 44,865 hit-and-runs were reported, and only 510 arrests were made. Out of 38 of these crashes, only 13 hit-and-run drivers were arrested. 14 arrests out of 22 hit and crashes, resulting in fatal injuries, were made during the same year. But this year hasn't been the section from January to September 2017. 42 hit-and-runs resulting in critical injury were reported. From the data provided through the end of September, only 18 hit-and-run arrests have been made. Using technology already available to us to make New Yorkers aware of hit-and-run crashes that result in severe physical harms or death will make all New Yorkers and visitors a resource for the NYPD in finding the suspect. Hit-and-run is an epidemic that we are committed to work together to eradicate. We have made a lot of progress in Vision Zero, but still hit and run is something that we had to eradicate from the city of New York. Estamos aquí porque con esta audiencia de hoy estamos escuchando el proyecto de ley que busca crear una alarma para cuando un chofer se va de una escena y golpea a una persona, que esa información el público de Nueva York lo pueda reportar a la policía. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council Member. Thank you for your strong efforts, particularly on Vision Zero. We have one individual signed up for public testimony. I'd like him to go right over there to the microphone. Corey Ortega of the New York City Veterans Alliance.
Hey, good morning. My name is Corey Ortega. I'm the Director of Civic and Government Affairs for the New York City Veterans Alliance, a member-driven grassroots policy advocacy and community building organization that advances veterans and families as civic leaders in New York City and beyond. I'm presenting testimony today on behalf of our members in support of Intro 1763, extending the eligible funds exemption for veterans to include New York City school taxes. Housing stability, to include affordable housing and home ownership, is a top priority for our membership. Our members are veterans who have recently returned to New York from Afghanistan, the Middle East, or other missions across the globe to find a city of rising rents and in a market which is key to benefit their military service. The VA home loan is virtually unusable. Among our members, we also have the Vietnam veterans who served this country and city decades ago and spent their lives contributing as citizens, leaders, and advocates, and paying their share of taxes, only to find that school taxes, which for decades were never included in their property tax exemption and have gone up more than 60% over the last 15 years. Our older veterans have felt squeezed out from the city they've called home. Our younger veterans find the dream of using their VA home loan merely a distant aspiration in their increasingly difficult market. New York City simply can and must do better by our veterans and their families, and today is an example of that. For these reasons, New York City Veterans Alliance was a key advocacy voice towards passage earlier this year of Intro 1304, which extends the alternative tax exemption for veterans to last include exemption from New York City school taxes. We are grateful for the leadership of Council Member Steve Matteo and the Committee of Finance in passing the first tax relief for veterans in many years. We also strongly support this introduction, 1763, which expands another key tax exemption for veteran homeowners, the eligible funds exemption to include exemption from school taxes. Thank you so much, and this concludes my testimony.
Thank you very much, Corey. Just a few words, quick Spanish summary of all these pieces of legislation and the intent of them. And the intent is mejorar servicios municipales, tener una ciudad más segura para todos los neoyorquinos y asegurar un gobierno más justo y transparente. And with that, we are going to conclude the hearing. There will be a bill signing event scheduled at a later date. Thanks, everyone.